Russia's next-generation regional turboprop aircraft, the domestically built Il-114-300, has successfully concluded one of its most ambitious testing phases through a series of Arctic certification trials. Crews assessed the aircraft's capability to operate in some of the most challenging aviation environments on Earth during the flights, which covered the high north, including operations near the uninhabited archipelagos of Novaya Zemlya and Franz Josef land. The aircraft nearly reached the geographic North Pole during the tests, stopping less than 100 kilometers from the so-called zero mark, according to Russian aerospace officials. In the face of ongoing sanctions and restrictions on foreign aeronautical imports, the trials are being promoted as a critical milestone in Russia's effort to rebuild its regional aviation network using entirely domestic aircraft and engines. And honestly, flying that close to the North Pole is not exactly a routine Tuesday afternoon test flight. As the story moves deeper into the Arctic campaign itself, the recent testing effort was carried out by specialists from United Aircraft Corporation and the Ilyushin Aviation Design Bureau. The aircraft operated from remote airfields in the Russian Arctic, including facilities located on Franz Josef land, one of the northernmost inhabited territories anywhere on the planet. The main objective of the evaluations was to verify how the aircraft's systems perform in high-latitude environments, where conventional navigation becomes difficult because of magnetic anomalies, poor satellite geometry, and severe weather conditions. Russian engineers focused heavily on the aircraft's onboard navigation suite and the BIN's 2015 inertial navigation system developed by Keret, one of Russia's major avionics manufacturers. Altitude addicts should note that Arctic navigation is one of those things that sounds straightforward until you realize compasses can start behaving strangely near the poles. Aviation faces genuinely unusual obstacles in the Arctic. Magnetic compasses become less dependable close to the poles, satellite coverage angles shift dramatically, and temperatures can plunge low enough to stress electronics, hydraulics, and engines all at once. Aircraft operating in these conditions require highly reliable autonomous navigation systems and exceptional cold weather resilience. Russian officials stated that the Il-114-300 successfully completed all planned evaluations during the campaign. The data gathered during the flights will now be processed as part of the broader certification effort designed to expand the aircraft's approved operational envelope. Moving from the Arctic environment to the aircraft itself, the Il-114-300 is not intended to compete with massive long-haul jetliners. Instead, it fills a role Russia increasingly sees as strategically important: short and medium-range regional travel connecting isolated settlements, Arctic outposts, Siberian towns, and Far Eastern regions where modern airport infrastructure is often limited. The aircraft is a heavily modernized version of the older Soviet-era Il-114 platform, redesigned with updated avionics, new engines, digital systems, and a much larger share of Russian-made components. It is expected to carry roughly 64 to 68 passengers, while operating efficiently on routes where jet aircraft simply do not make economic sense. Russian aviation planners view the aircraft as a future replacement for aging Soviet-era turboprops such as the Antonov An-24, many of which have remained in service for decades. Moscow also hopes the aircraft can eventually replace foreign regional turboprops like the ATR-42, ATR-72, and Bombardier-8 family, as sanctions continue complicating access to Western spare parts and maintenance support. One of the Il-114-300's most promoted capabilities is its ability to operate from underdeveloped airfields. The aircraft is designed for autonomous operations at smaller airports with minimal infrastructure and is expected to use both paved and unpaved runways. Russian officials say upcoming tests later this year will involve gravel and dirt airstrips to reinforce the aircraft's role as a rugged regional workhorse. And yes, Dirt runway testing still sounds slightly wild in the age of ultramodern glass cockpit airliners. Turning toward the larger geopolitical picture, the Arctic has become one of Russia's most strategically important regions over the last decade. The area contains enormous energy reserves, vital shipping lanes, military installations, and isolated civilian communities that depend heavily on aviation links. Many Arctic settlements have no permanent year-round road connections, making aircraft essential for passenger transport, cargo delivery, medical evacuation, and government administration. Maintaining reliable aviation links in the far north, however, remains both technically difficult and extremely expensive. Russia's aging Soviet-built regional aircraft fleet has created mounting pressure for replacement platforms capable of surviving extreme environmental conditions. The Il-114-300 is increasingly being presented as one of the answers to that challenge. During the Arctic test campaign, Ilyushin managing director Daniil Brennerman stated that the aircraft had been designed for all geographic latitudes, weather conditions, and climate zones. He argued that confirmation of Arctic basing capability demonstrates the aircraft's ability to replace both aging domestic aircraft and older foreign-built models currently operating in the segment. Franz Josef Land was selected for the trials not only for operational reasons, but also for symbolic ones. The archipelago hosts Russia's northernmost aerodrome near the 80th parallel. Successfully operating there allows Russian authorities to demonstrate that the aircraft can support civilian and potentially state operations throughout the Arctic region. Shifting focus to the aircraft's engineering core, the TV7117ST-01 turboprop engines developed by United Engine Corporation sit at the heart of the Il-114-300 program. These engines have become one of the most important components in Russia's wider aviation import substitution strategy. During takeoff, the power plants generate roughly 3,000 horsepower and use modern digital engine control systems conceptually similar to Western FADEC systems. Russian industry sources claim the engines deliver improved fuel efficiency, better reliability, and stronger performance in difficult operating conditions. The engines also drive six-bladed AV-112114 propellers designed to reduce noise while increasing thrust. According to Russian developers, the propulsion system was specifically optimized for regional operations involving short sectors, frequent takeoffs and landings, and operations from smaller airports. Altitude addicts will probably appreciate just how central engines become in a project like this, because if the engines struggle, the entire aircraft program struggles with them. The engine program's importance extends well beyond the Il-114-300 itself. Variants of the TV7117 family are also being considered for additional Russian regional aviation projects, making the power plant strategically important for the country's broader civil aviation plans. Looking at the certification journey itself, the Il-114-300 program has faced years of delays and technical challenges. Although the aircraft traces its origins back to Soviet aviation programs, the modernized version required extensive redesign work, updated avionics integration, and entirely new certification efforts. Momentum slowed significantly after the 2021 crash of the prototype Il-112V military transport aircraft, which used a related engine family. The accident triggered broader scrutiny of engine development programs and temporarily affected confidence surrounding the Il-114-300 project. Russian aerospace firms have gradually resumed and expanded testing activities since then. Additional prototype aircraft joined the certification campaign during 2025, helping accelerate the overall flight testing effort. In recent months, the aircraft has undergone icing tests in Arkhangelsk, low-temperature trials in Yakutia, and long-range demonstration flights abroad. Russian aviation media reports suggest the certification flight program is now nearing completion, while authorities continue reviewing technical documentation. Industry representatives have suggested that initial deliveries could begin shortly after certification is finalized. Though in aviation, timelines have a funny habit of stretching longer than expected sometimes. Moving into the broader market context, turboprop aircraft remain essential for regional aviation worldwide despite the dominance of jets in long-haul travel. Aircraft such as the ATR-72 and de Havilland-8 continue serving thousands of routes because turboprops are generally far more fuel efficient on shorter sectors. For countries with massive territories and sparse populations, the economics become especially attractive. Russia's geography makes this category particularly important because many settlements generate passenger volumes too small for jets while remaining far too remote for practical alternative transportation. As a result, the Il-114-300 is being marketed not merely as another aircraft, but as infrastructure for national connectivity itself. Russian officials frequently describe regional aviation as essential for economic development, territorial cohesion, and Arctic integration. The aircraft's ability to function independently at remote airports is considered one of its biggest advantages. Features such as built-in boarding stairs, rugged landing gear, and operations from minimally equipped airfields are intended to reduce dependence on expensive airport infrastructure. Expanding the aircraft's operating envelope now forms a major part of the next phase of testing. The Arctic campaign represents only one section of a broader certification roadmap planned through 2026. Russian aerospace officials have already announced that additional evaluations will occur in high-temperature environments during the summer, followed by further testing on dirt and gravel runways by early autumn. That combination of extreme heat, Arctic cold, and rough field operations reflects the enormous range of conditions Russian aircraft may need to handle. Russia stretches across Arctic tundra, Siberian forests, mountains, deserts, and humid coastal regions, requiring aircraft capable of adapting to dramatically different operational environments. If all planned evaluations are completed successfully, the Il-114-300 could emerge as one of the most versatile regional aircraft in Russia's civil aviation fleet. For Moscow, the symbolism surrounding the aircraft is also deeply important. At a time when Western aerospace manufacturers remain largely inaccessible to Russian airlines, the Il-114-300 represents an attempt to demonstrate technological self-reliance in a sector historically dependent on imported systems and international cooperation. Ultimately, the recent Arctic flights carried significance extending far beyond aviation testing alone. A fully Russian-built regional aircraft flying nearly to the North Pole sends a broader message about industrial capability, Arctic ambition, and the future direction of Russia's domestic aerospace industry. And for altitude addicts, this is one of those aviation stories where engineering, geopolitics, geography, and national ambition all collide in the same frozen patch of sky.
The next stage of testing has been completed. We flew to the North Pole, but did not reach the North Pole, but reached 80 latitude, which confirms the characteristics of the navigation complex and confirmed the expected results. The flight was preceded by careful preparation of mathematical modeling. All the characteristics were practiced on the stands and then practically completed the flight. The complex confirmed all its characteristics, pleased the crew and designers.
That the plane, as I have repeatedly said, is for flights.
Conditions where ordinary airliners cannot and will never fly. Therefore, our main task was to confirm its reliability and the possibility of finding it at high latitudes. The fact is that the aircraft will be used massively in the Arctic zone. The need arises not only in civil airlines, including the question arises from state aviation. We are now starting to make a new modification of the truck. That is, there will be a large door, there will be a cargo floor, which will provide a support function. Here are the closed airfields that are as far away from the point as possible. Everyone said we couldn't do it, but we did. So I'm very satisfied. The result is just great for...
We have always emphasized that the aircraft Il-114 was created absolutely for all geographical latitudes, for all weather conditions, climatic conditions, and today's test once again confirmed that the aircraft really is ours. Suitable for operation in almost all conditions, latitude of base, maximum latitude and operation confirmed indicate that the aircraft can be used, including in the Arctic zone, that is, replace all existing aircraft of the old fleet and foreign-made aircraft. The next tests are planned for the summer. Conduct at high temperatures by the end of summer. In the beginning of autumn, we will conduct tests on operation of the aircraft from ground takeoff and landing sites.
If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Please also take the channel membership to encourage us. Last but not least, please hype this video if you are watching on a mobile device.